put like 80 Bowsers into a Mario Maker level, right?
Sure, but
Nice, that was good.
this is actually really chill.
Hail this sprite full of grace. The entity is with thee. Nameless art thou amongst these characters, and blessed is your game amongst 16-bit titles. Holy this sprite, mother of Chrono, pray for us gamers now and at the hour of game over. In the name of the entity, Chrono, and the holy time space. Amen. Hello, Internet. Welcome to Game Theory, the show that verges on blasphemy for the sake of a clever opening. Now, it's no secret that I love me some Chrono Trigger. I've gone on record to say it's tied for my #1 game of all time, and even made the first episode of this series all about how it portrays time travel because of my deep, manly affection for it. But not once, in the countless times I've time-hopped my way to stopping the end of the world, did I ever see the real story behind Chrono and his pals. Here I was, foolishly believing I was drag racing through a post-apocalyptic garbage heap, or dueling against an ambiguously sexed mage, when in actuality I was reenacting the story of Jesus Christ. How could I have been so blind, right? Forgive me for missing the obvious clues here. How could I have possibly forgotten the verse in Leviticus where Jesus challenges the mutant Hot Wheel to a race? Or that part in John chapter 2 where Jesus kills the dinosaurs? Or that oft-forgotten psalm where the nuns transform into... Okay, yeah, you get the point. Maybe the signs aren't all that obvious. But when you look behind the magical realms, prehistoric characters, and plot objectives ripped out of 2001: A Space Odyssey, you have a game that, at its core, has you playing through many key moments from the Holy Book. So climb aboard your time machine, ladies and gents, and be warned, cause there be spoilers ahead as we take a crash course through some of the Bible's greatest hits. Skeptical? Okay, all you doubting Thomases out there in the comments, here's a quick one right off the bat. Ever wonder why the three gurus, Gaspar, Melchior, and Balthazar, have such weird names? Dig into some trout yogurt and smile for the camera, because this week we're tackling Mother.
Mother.
Can you imagine a world where we're all represented by a font? Huh, wonder which one I would be. Too straight. No, not in that way, just straight, as in unexciting. Too, Deadpool. Broadway! Now that's the one! Now that's the one! Hello, Internet! Welcome to Game Theory, where, instead of putting a joke here, I want to ask you a question. If your personality were represented by a font, what font would you be? Take a moment and put your font in the comments. I'm really curious to see what everyone has to say. Maybe find a couple new, cool fonts to use. Getting bored with old Calibri 11. And with that out of the way, it's time to talk Undertale. Now, I don't think I've ever gotten this many requests to cover a game. Well, except for FNAF. And I suppose FNAF 2. Oh, and then there was FNAF 3. Wait a minute, should I be worried about something here? Anyway, across the board on YouTube, Reddit, and Twitter, you all have wanted Undertale. And honestly, I'm glad you brought it to my attention. True loyal theorists will know that Earthbound is my favorite game of all time. So a self-aware RPG in a similar style? Oh man, it's like a gift from the indie gaming heavens. Undertale is a game where every character, from Goat Mom to Grind Fodder, has a sympathetic design and unique personality, motivations, goals, fears. Whether you're saving or slaughtering them, the game makes you feel something every time you enter an encounter. But to me, one character stood out amongst all the rest: Sans. A skeleton named after the font Comic Sans, hence all the font references at the beginning of the episode. If you haven't played Undertale, I'm sure that was a really weird opening. Anyway, Sans is well, there's a lot of mystery around this guy. And before we get into it, let me put up a very special spoiler warning. Undertale is a game best experienced blind. So if you haven't played it, pause the video and come back after you've finished. I promise you won't regret it. Alright, so everyone out of the pool and ready for the adult swim? Good, because I'm feeling pretty determined to get to the bottom of Sans' mystery. So just to recap for those of you who haven't played the game and ignored the spoiler warning or just need a refresher, Sans is one of the two skeletal brothers who appear in the game. His partner is Papyrus, a loud, goofy trap.
Where are you going?
On a date?
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're grounded.
I'm not grounded.
Busted!
Can we borrow some clothes?
Yeah, sure.
Can we borrow some clothes?
Busted!
You were cheating on me! I can explain!
Who's this guy? You're grounded.
I'm not grounded.
Busted!
Can we borrow some clothes?
Yeah, sure.
Can we borrow some clothes?
Busted!
You were cheating on me! I can explain!
Who's this guy?
Wampa!
Who is it?
Baby! Hey! Yeah, her boyfriend! Duh!
Nabaya.
What do you mean?
Alright, kiss him.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
On the lips?
Oh shit!
Kiss him.
Bye now. Kiss him!
Okay. Tap. You tapped it like this.
Stop being a little baby.
What
Stop.
do you want me to do to you?
Try it on me. Go. Didn't hurt.
1 second. Let me just check. I guess it didn't hurt. I mean, this actually did hurt me. Oh my god, Lily! I just saw the cutest guy. Oh, with that body, he's definitely Latino. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Come here. Yo soy de Cuba. Comida. No.
Hola. Yo soy Cuba.
What man? Jamaica here, what you doing? A Montego Bay?
Lele.
From Jamaica.
I don't know Jamaican. Lele, come back. George!
I got this.
Oh, okay.
You go ahead.
I kissed your girl! I kissed your girl, man!
So what's the next dare?
Oh, I want to do it.
Oh my god. This guy a fucking psycho.
Here we go.
Go.
What? Okay, I got this.
As much as I hate you, be careful, okay? 20 seconds.
Wow, okay, I'm okay.
Okay. He did what?
Boys can't like other boys. That's wrong. This is some anti-straight propaganda meant to turn our kids gay. No son of mine's fucking gay. Adam and Eve! Boys can't like other boys. That's wrong. This is some anti-straight propaganda meant to turn our kids gay. No son of mine's fucking gay. Adam and Eve!
Hey, jerk! Whoa. It's not what it looks like.
Hello there. No, wait. Close your eyes.
Oh my god! Hey, what about this?
What you want?
Thank you! Yeah, we're best friends.
Someone said, what?
Yeah. what I got you.
Whoa!
Alright, Lily, me or him?
Both of you.
I would die for you.
Oh, you would?
No.
Okay.
Oh!
It worked!
Hey, how are you? Gringo.
Puta.
Hannah, he's cheating on you!
Alright, side chick, I'll talk to you later.
I know you're cheating on me.
Oh, really?
I'm gonna prove that you're a cheater.
Okay, prove it.
Hannah! You see? He's cheating on you. He's trying to kiss me.
Lele.
Oh my god.
You kissed my boyfriend!
What?
I thought you were a good friend!
Trying to prove a point!
You're such a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
Was that you?
Oh, that wasn't me. I got you. That was a yeah, rapping.
Boy, you know she ain't fart.
Nah.
Yeah, you was lying from the start. Yeah. Look, you need to throw that in the trash. Look, just cause she got a nice ass.
So she didn't pass gas.
No, she didn't pass gas now.
Hey,
She didn't pass gas.
I didn't fart. Ew. That's so
Disgusting.
I cannot believe you like two guys at the same time.
I know, but oh my god, I like that guy.
That's your third one now.
Just don't tell David and Max. Sweet.
Yeah, I won't tell them. It's gonna be easy. I'm in love.
That you? Anita! I thought you loved me!
Thank you.
I got your back.
Hey! We know everything you've been doing!
I can explain.
You know what? You can do it.
It's her fault!
What? You bitch!
Oh, hey.
What's up?
I just saw my ex.
And?
I think he's over me.
No, he's not. You guys just broke up 2 days ago.
He obviously still loves
No,
you.
he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
He's getting jealous. It's working. It's working.
Boy, you can say anything you wanna. I don't give a shit. No one else can have it. I want you back.
Hey, that's my girl!
I want you back. I want you back.
What's up, bro?
I like a guy who's
Funny?
and sensitive.
You know, I like a girl that has like
Fat ass. And fat titties.
Yo, I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. So tell me what you want, what you really, really want.
Mine are way bigger than yours.
Guys.
Girls.
I'm super excited.
I can't wait for you to meet my other best friend.
I gotta start so much about you. Can you believe we took this 5 years ago?
It's funny because we took pictures like 12 years ago.
Let's go out and meet you.
Okay, have fun. I'm just gonna try them off. Thank you.
Good, right?
Oh my god, your dad's here?
Yeah.
He hates me.
No, he doesn't. Come on.
Is there anything to eat?
You bring Layla again?
Pop, it's Layla.
There's nothing to eat, just chips.
Oh, look. Look what she doing, look.
She's my best friend.
Now, remember when you got so drunk?
What?
I got all the videos here.
Drunk? You get drunk again?
No. We just went out. We had a lot of fun.
You want to see your daughter drunk?
Enough is enough. Come with me.
Okay, I'll be here.
زينك لميريلا.
No.
هي خورتك شو قال يبان فعلا. المرة.
Is everything okay?
He's just mad I didn't make my bed.
No, it's not that. I don't like you.
I think you and Twan are so cute together.
Actually, can you break up with him for me? I can't do it. It's gonna break my heart.
You want to break up with Twan, but I have to do it.
Yes. You're my best friend. Come on.
I owe you! Hey! So about Hannah.
I know, I just bought her a house.
A house! Oh, Twan. She doesn't want a boyfriend anymore.
Oh.
I'm glad you understand.
Yeah, okay.
What? She's just joking.
A joke.
Doesn't want to break up with you. Take me down. She loves you so much, yeah.
That's good, because you know what? Actually, I'm gonna kiss her right now.
Welcome back to Miss Barbie Universe. Guanta, who do you choose? Wait, no, first, you guys are gonna fight. Barbie slap Tiffany. Now, Tiffany, punch Barbie in the boob.
Tiffany, no! What you laughing at? Tiffany, Barbie, kick Kenpa in the boob.
No.
Ah! Kenpa chooses Tiffany. Barbie!
Shit!
Now for a kiss. Bye now. Yeah?
Can I explain?
Okay, explain.
I can explain.
No!
Hot potato, hot potato.
La negra tiene tumbao. Azúcar.
This is my boyfriend. This is my boyfriend.
He's mine!
Oh my god, baby.
He's here. I'm gonna grab my purse.
I got it!
Hey, it's on there?
Yeah, she's here. Oh, let me see if you're the perfect guy. How strong are you? Not this. Stop and give me 20. 46. Your ass is small. Nice. You don't smell very good. Have fun. He's all good.
Hi, I'm Mona. You're Max's friend, right?
Nice to meet you. Wait, he's not your guy? No. So who's the guy? Oh my god, I missed you so much! I missed you too! Whoa! Why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
No, what the fuck are you doing?
Oh my god, what are you talking about?
Rage, she's mad at me!
Why are you mad?
No, I'm not mad at her.
Nana, calm down.
You see? You're mad at me!
No, I'm not.
Nana, come on.
Don't.
Oh my god! No, now I'm mad because now you're pissing me off!
I knew it!
Oh, Jenga!
Yo, guys, my friend's here.
Ow.
Yo, what up? What's up, guys? Yo,
Hey.
Oh shit!
Why didn't you invite my ex?
Yo, relax. It's okay. Just ignore him. Come with us.
I'm good. Oh my god, he's coming. I like Papa so much. What do I do for him to kiss me? I have an idea.
Oh my god, guys! My friend's dying! I need help!
He's healthy. Clean eating. 6 feet even. 2, 4, 6, 8. Stay packed.
Can't touch this.
Are you rich?
Yes.
He's a good one. Finally. Let's go upstairs. And one more.
Oh shit!
Holy shit! Oh my god, they're checking you out. Shake it up a little. I'll teach you. Go, try it. Try it. Go.
You got that milk money. I got that milk money. You got that.
At least I have you.
All by myself.
Hannah, can you talk to me?
Don't wanna be all by myself.
Guys! I'm so sick and tired of you guys being all cute and.
Hey, guys.
Oh, look, a hot guy for you.
Is it cool if I bring my girlfriend in?
Oh, come on! Do you want some pasta?
Are you calling me fat?
Thanks, Layla. You look so pretty today.
Oh, so I'm ugly every single other day?
Thanks, Layla. Hannah, this is my friend Tuan Pie. We guys should go out sometime. Oh, so you're trying to sell me out like a slut? Hannah! Thanks, Layla. I'm gonna buy you lunch. Oh, so you think I'm poor? Hannah,
Stop taking everything so personal.
You know what? You're completely right.
Oh, so I'm always wrong. Thanks, Hannah. What?
Hey, little sis.
Hey, bro.
Where do you think you're going?
Oh, I'm just going to the grocery store.
So why is your makeup done?
Why isn't your makeup done?
That's real cute. I tell you what, go have fun on your date.
I'm not going on a date. Please don't tell Mom.
No, I'm not gonna tell Mom.
Really?
Yeah, go have fun on your date.
I owe you one. Thank you so much.
Hey, sis.
I have extra clothes.
Get out! Shit!
I know you're cheating.
I'm not cheating on you. Find out where you're going.
Hi. Are you my Kayla?
Yeah. Please don't touch that. Why are you putting the garbage? It's my mom.
Give me your phone. Give me your phone. Yeah, no messages.
Wait.
See, nothing.
Then why is your Wi-Fi connected? You guys are my best friends.
I'm obviously your number one, right?
Both of you.
Yeah, but if you had to choose, you'd choose me, right?
Wait, no, but I've known you long.
Doesn't matter
Well,
how long. I give her the best massages.
Well, I give her the cheesiest pizza in town.
Look what I just made you.
That's from IKEA.
Well, I got you a boyfriend. That's my cousin.
No, you get to choose.
I'm not gonna choose. Are you single? Me too.
Oh my god, you met Diego. Can you believe he's our cousin?
Cousin? We didn't even know him. Cousin. Woo! Fuck. Oh, watch it.
Why does everything hurt with girls?
Yeah, private parts, that hurts.
It's soft. Like, how does
Doesn't
that
matter.
hurt? You guys should just cry it. It's like, honestly.
You know what? You're so right.
Exactly.
My bad.
Thank you.
I'm just cuckoo, you know?
He's looking right at us. I'm sexy. I'm sexy. I think he likes you.
What's wrong?
No! What's the problem?
There's only one way to say what!
Alright, I'm not gonna hit a girl. Ew, delete it.
Oh no, I love it.
Delete it!
Thanks, babe.
Like,
The dirty work.
Let's go! Cause I'm feeling like I'm running in.
Oh, Lottie. Let me know when you're ready.
So love me like you do.
Hey, wanna hang out tonight?
Sorry, I'm really sick.
Ah, it's fine. What?
I don't know. Hijo de puta, es la cosa más grave.
If I were a boy.
You know you're my number one.
I know, it's that sometimes I
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me?
Crazy party, and this guy comes up to me and he's a... Hey, what's up?
You should let me love you.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older?
Hello?
Oh shit! Oh shit!
Hey, where are you going?
I'm going to get more dog food.
We don't even have a dog.
Who is my life? Don't you forget.
Such nice lips.
Aw,
I don't
thanks.
want those lips.
I get it.
I love this lip gloss.
My anaconda don't Azúcar! Street to rock.
Come fly with me, let's fly away.
Babe, do you love me?
Of course I love you. You're the only one I love.
Do you got that, Lele?
Who is the...
L is for the way you look at me.
Good morning.
Oh my gosh. Look at her butt. Oh my god.
What are you doing?
I'm really tired.
She's gone!
It's a party, it's a party, it's a party.
If I were a boy, I think
You were too cool for me, sitting there in the caravan. All the nights we've been drunk.
Express yourself, girl, let it all hang out. Just do your...
No, come on.
Hey guys, can you help me pick?
I see that.
Cause you're hot and you're cold, you're yes then you're no, you're in and you're...
This is Christian. He's my boyfriend. He's half Spanish.
Again like you loved me before. This time I want you to love.
Hey, boys. Hey.
It's a boy!
This place about to blow.
Hey.
Pizza?
I have man shoulders.
My hairline is so weird.
I was born a man.
Okay.
You're stupid!
No, you won't disrespect me in my house.
Hey mom!
Hola.
You're stupid!
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't
I have to tell you a secret.
Babe!
I cheated on my boyfriend.
With who?
With Anwar. He did what? Hey, jerk! Where'd you go? Hey.
I really like your friend.
Amanda!
Love is all that I can give to you.
I have to tell you a secret.
Babe!
I cheated on my boyfriend.
With who?
With Anwar.
Are you serious?
Excuse me?
Aranza?
Amanda?
What's good?
Bitch!
Where's the turkey?
Your stare was holding, ripped jeans, skin was showing, hot night, wind was blowing.
Oh my! I can't! Do it for the vine!
Hey! Hey! Stop! Why you gotta be so rude? Don't you know?
Oh, sorry.
I got broads in Atlanta. Chasing the demon.
Express yourself, girl, let it on. Just do your
Whoa!
Hey guys!
Can I borrow a few things?
Yeah, sure.
What?
Stop! Stop! Put that
No, we don't. Okay.
Stop!
Thanks, Lele.
What the f?
Express yourself, girl, let it on.
Hey girls!
Just do your thing. Ain't nothing new.
That's my dad. Shut up. Hola, papi.
Hola.
What should I wear?
All the time I turn around, brothers gather round, always looking at me up and down, looking at my. I just wanna say it now.
Wow, you get ready fast.
It was nothing really. I think we did it.
I like big butts in the game.
You saw my ass.
You other brothers can't deny. Yeah, when a girl walks in with an itty bitty.
Oh, 1 second, sorry, I got a phone call.
I wonder what he's saying.
Yeah, I don't know. Translate.
I'm with this loser named Logan. His girlfriend looks like a horse. I farted in his water.
Merde.
Shit.
I have to go to the bathroom. Oh, we're coming. We're coming. Yeah.
I'm sexy and I know.
I can't wait to meet your parents.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god. How you doing, officer?
License registration.
I don't have it, officer.
Step out of the vehicle.
No.
What's going on?
You can't take him. Help me! No!
Thank you so much.
Yo, anytime. I can't believe she wanted you to meet her parents.
Oh, that bitch is crazy.
Yo, let's scare mom.
Let's do it. Come on, guys. Don't do that. Shut up. Let's just do it. So messed up. No, it wasn't me.
L
Thank you for this
is
day.
for the way you look at me. Oh.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I see you!
Love
I'm sorry about my
is
friends.
all.
No, I'm sorry about my friends.
What?
Guys!
Can you find out if he likes me?
Him?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I got it.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of Lele?
Oh, she's funny.
And
And she's cool.
nothing else?
She's talented.
Yeah, but do you like her?
No!
Nah.
What? Lele! He said no! Okay! He doesn't like it! We get it! He's gone.
Fuck!
And then I say to the guy,
No. No, Dad, no.
What?
No.
What? Let him say the joke. Relax.
Yeah. So then I say to the guy, hey, you got the wrong guy.
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm at a party.
Wow, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm at a party.
Yeah, I'm just at the gym.
You're at the gym?
Whose party are you at?
I'm at Curtis's party.
Wait, I'm Curtis.
Wait. I'm with Curtis.
Wait. So you're not at the gym? Okay, alright, bye! She's gone!
Bye.
That was awkward. Do you want to go out with me?
Yeah.
Pick me up at 5.
Okay.
Hey!
Hey.
Is it okay if my friend comes? Hi, this is my boyfriend Kyle.
What's going on, little buddy? How's it going?
Oh, I sent you the address, by the way.
Yeah, you got a gum up there?
Baby, you got me like that.
Wow, Laylee. It looks great.
Beautiful, girl.
Just work in it. Really pretty. Can we try it? I mean, it doesn't look good on everybody, but yeah, sure, you can try it.
Yo, sexy ladies, come far with us, and I car with us, them now war with
Next.
Work, but you gotta put in work.
Sit down.
If you like me,
You look so much better than Laylee.
Miss Columbia!
What's my crown?
I must apologize. I made a mistake.
I knew it.
The winner is Miss Venezuela.
Yes! Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, I messed up again. I'm so sorry about that. Miss Dominican Republic. It's not you. Miss Cuba. You need to put a bra on. The winner is Miss Mexico.
Okay, ready? Okay. Wait, I want to be on her side. Oh, I just took it. I already took it, guys.
okay. Oh, can I see it?
No.
My first kiss went a little like this. What? And twist.
Congratulations!
We slipped. That's the camera. Watch.
First kiss went a little like this.
Bullshit!
And twist. And twist.
It's for sure the camera. I'm gonna check it.
Oh shit!
Oh, it's right!
Oh shit!
Yo, Hannah's gonna teach him how to do the acting. Look.
What do we do? I have an idea. Girls.
Hey, girl!
Unfreeze. Are you doing your... Are you doing your homework? I hope you're not playing that video game. I don't really care.
You guys are my best friends.
I'm obviously your number one, right?
Both of you.
Yeah, but if you had to choose, you'd choose me, right?
Wait, no, but I've known you long.
Does it matter?
Oh,
Oh, that's weird.
oh, she's in a plane. That's why.
Oh, I'll call her.
No, don't, she's not gonna answer.
You know what's crazy is that Laylee bitch keeps calling me over and
Babe, can you help me on a diet?
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be nice if we were older? Then we wouldn't have to wait so long. And wouldn't it be nice to live together in the kind of world where we belong?
What? Not today! Where is he?
Hey.
He's healthy. Clean eating.
Finally.
Let's go upstairs.
And one more!
Baby, if I was going for the ass. Oh! Oh, scared me. What?
Why?
That was scary, baby. You saw that? Look how she just bent down. What if she bent down and grabbed the gun and shot me? That's the real question you should be asking. I'm supposed to know. I'm supposed to know she wasn't bending down for a gun. It scared me. Baby, I'm doing this for us. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do you know where you're going? You lost. You gotta turn this way. Alright, baby, that was on me.
That one's your fault.
I'm sorry, you can go back that way.
Atch.
She may call the police, so I'm going dip.
He did what? Hey, jerk!
Whoa.
It's not what it looks like. Hey, you wanna go out tonight?
Hey, you wanna go out tonight?
If I was you, I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me too. I'd wanna be me.
Hey! Stop copying me!
Stop copying me!
Hey, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm at a party.
Wow, sounds good.
Yeah, I'm at a party.
party.
Yeah, I'm just at the gym.
You're at the gym?
Whose party are you at?
I'm at Curtis's party.
Wait, I'm Curtis.
Wait, I'm with Curtis.
Wait. So you're not at the gym? Okay, alright, bye. Let's go.
Bye.
That was awkward.
This is what you came for.
It's so funny! Oh my gosh, they're so perfect. No. Oh, what's this? Oh! Oh my god, they're checking you out. Shake it up a little. I'll teach you. Go, try it. Try it.
You got that, you got that, you got that milk money. I got that, I got that, I got that milk money. You got that, you got.
Wow, Lily.
It looks great. Beautiful girl.
Working it. Really pretty. Can we try it? I mean, it doesn't.
Express yourself, girl, let it all
Hey, girls.
out. Just do your thing. Ain't nothing no.
That's my dad.
Shut up.
Hola, papi.
Hola.
I like big butts in a
Did you slap my ass?
You other brothers can't deny. And when a girl walks in with an itty bitty.
I'm sexy and I know.
What's good, Jake?
What's up, man? Let your body waddle. Don't act like a sloppy model. You just hit the lotto.
Why do you have to be so different around your friends, huh?
What you mean? It's
L
Thank you for this
is for the way you look at me. Oh.
I'm sorry, 1 second. I see you!
Love
I'm sorry about my
is
friends.
all.
No, I'm sorry about my friends.
What?
Guys!
There's 3 things that happen during the night. You either dealt with the heavy sleepers, then comes the light sleepers, oh, and my favorite of all, when the parents come in to take my job. The parents!
I can't believe she still believes in Tooth Fairy.
Oh, hell no!
I got the dollar.
This is my job! This is my job! This is... What? Hey, you're the girl that likes my little brother, right? Yeah. Let me tell you some things that he likes. He loves when girls snort. Like, he loves when girls whip their hair a lot. Yeah, he loves that stuff. He loves ticks. So if you do this, he's gonna love it. Oh, he's coming. Good luck. Thank you. I feel pretty.
Hey, Nana, what's up?
Hi.
There you go, flying in here? Are you okay?
What do you mean? Your sister told me that you like them.
I think Wampa's cheating on me with that girl. Just go talk to her. Talk to her, not Wampa. She's gonna be honest. She's gonna tell you everything you need to know.
Hey, are you seeing Wampa, my boyfriend?
What? No!
No? I'm not seeing Wampa. I know he has a girlfriend, right? You're the girlfriend, right? Yeah. No, I'm so sorry. I was just confused. You're so nice.
We're literally just friends.
Yeah. So much better. Thank you so much.
Don't worry about it.
Let's hang out soon.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Hey, you were so right. She was so cool. I trust her completely. Like, she's not talking to my man at all. Like, they're really just friends.
Go! Oh!
Oh my god, I missed you so much! I missed you too!
Whoa! Why are you mad at me?
I'm not mad at you.
No, what the fuck?
Oh my god, what are you talking?
What should I wear? These?
All the time I turn around, brothers gather round, always looking at me up and down, looking at my.
Nah.
What? Lily! He said no! Okay! He doesn't like it! We got it! He's gone. Fuck! He's looking right now.
Don't you wish your girlfriend
I'm sexy.
was like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was
He likes you?
like me? Don't you?
What's wrong? No! Oh my god, Layla, what's wrong? That guy in the the orange shirt.
What did he do?
He touched my butt.
Oh, hell no. Hold this right now.
Hi, excuse me.
How's it going? How are
yeah,
you?
don't ever touch my best
What you know?
He'll never grab your ass again, that's for sure.
That's because he didn't. That's not the guy. That's the guy!
Get back here, my
One second.
Okay.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe, how was your day?
No, nothing. Babe, hold 1 second. Oh my god!
Alright.
Come on!
Oh my god. Layla is cheating on Torrance.
What? And the tongue action?
Huh?
Layla is crazy and savage.
Hey!
She doesn't care about her boyfriend.
What the fuck?
So yeah, hello? Babe? Guys?
I'm not sure that my Spanish really good.
Ah!
Okay, don't worry, I'm here.
I can be your hero, baby. I can kiss away.
Oh my god, you killed it!
Don't worry, babe, I'm here.
That was amazing.
Yeah, I know. Yo, girl, what's wrong with you?
Are you serious right now? Evie!
Here it comes. Hey!
So,
My new boyfriend.
It's actually my ex,
Is this your girlfriend?
my princess.
we're getting married tomorrow.
Yeah.
She's pregnant. With twins.
He works out. How many days do you work out? Oh, she's not!
Oh my god, stop the car! Stop the car! Stop the car! Look at that hottie. Baby! Wait, where the hell did we stop?
Wingardium Leviosa.
What's it? Stop! Stop! It's Leviosa, not Leviosa.
Alright, you do it.
Wingardium Leviosa.
Oh. Okay, listen, calm down. I was just doing my homework.
What, in the girls' bathroom? Get the hell out.
Calm down.
Now, get out.
Where are you going?
On a date?
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're grounded.
I'm not grounded.
Busted.
Hey, Lily.
Oh, hey, Brent. This is my new boyfriend.
Oh, hey.
He bought me this shirt.
I'm pretty sure I bought.
No, I'm with him. We're together. Oscar! Who is that girl? I knew you were cheating on me. No, oh, he's cheating on me. It's my man!
Hi, Lily.
Nana,
I missed you.
I just saw you.
You have an umbrella?
It's not raining.
Oh, actually, I think I left my shoes here.
You're wearing them.
Oh, found them. Oh my god, your brother lives
He's
here?
my brother.
How does that water taste?
It's just water.
But it's been in your mouth.
Oh god.
Can I borrow $2?
Here's $100.
Okay.
Can I borrow $5 for school?
Get a job, Lily.
Merry Christmas!
Oh my god, I love it!
To think about the girl you love and hold her tight.
Why is she your favorite?
I love you both the same. Lele, stop bothering your sister. Stop.
Oh my god, I love your house. It's so cold. Is that a ghost?
I'll make love to you like you want me to, and I'll hold.
Oh, watch it.
Why does everything hurt with girls?
Yeah, private parts, that hurt.
It's soft. Like, how does
Doesn't
that hurt?
matter.
You guys should just describe it. It's like, honestly.
You know what? You're so right.
Exactly.
My bad.
Thank you.
You're so right. I'm just cuckoo, you know? She thinks you're really cute.
Aw, you're really cute too.
Wanna be my boyfriend?
Yeah, sure.
Hey babe, ready to go?
Who's she?
She's my just a friend.
What?
I'm his girlfriend.
You're cheating on me?
Say yes.
Yes.
I'm out of here! Asshole!
Okay. You're not sorry.
Guys, I got the new iPhone 7.
Oh my god, shut up.
7?
Oh! My phone's broken.
So broken.
Guys, watch this.
Shut up. Wait!
It's waterproof.
Stop. Are you sure? Look, my phone's still on.
Wait. That's my phone.
What was that?
What?
That guy wants to hook up with you.
What?
You know how this shit makes me feel.
I hate when you're jealous.
Am I not good enough?
You're good enough. You're just so dumb.
You're naive.
I don't act like this. I miss him so much. Do you know what will make you feel better? Food. I got something for you. Woo! Come on. Okay, fine. Lily!
Baby, I'm so.
Oh my God, no!
Are you cheating on me?
Oh my God, babe,
You know what? It's over.
It's okay, guys.
I'm out of here.
Woo! The party's still on.
Is this Lele Pond's residence?
No.
Get up. Such a place.
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Excuse me, miss. I don't mean to bother you, but I just want to let you know you're really pretty. I'd love to take you out sometime. You know, I like the way you respond. It's different. No, like in a good way,
Oh, let me get a picture of this beautiful couple. Please, get together. Come on, get together. Yes, beautiful, beautiful.
Can I see?
Yes, of course. It's the most beautiful picture I've ever taken.
Tag me!
Fuck this shit, I'm out.
Is it something I said?
So funny.
Please don't come to kiss me right now. Oh, I barely know you.
Baby, soon as I touch you, coming right.
I love you too.
Oh my God, don't leave. I'm sorry.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
What's this?
It's your laptop.
I know. It's my laptop. But I left it over here when I left, so I just want to know who.
What do you mean, who?
Oh! Huh? Who are we sleeping with? Is he big? Is he tall? Is he short? Is he small? Black? Caucasian? You got a lit candle too? Oh, that's the only thing blowing around here. Well, what's this banana for? Huh? Oh, you like banana. You have all protein. I'm Hannah. I can
George, it's over.
Babe, all I'm asking for is one more chance. That's all I'm asking. I got your favorite wine. I got your candle. All I'm asking is for one more chance.
Babe, I was thinking, and you're so right.
There's only one screen. Oh, hey, babe, the wine's in the fridge over there. Headshot! Woo! Give me some! Yeah!
Dude, they spawn me here every time.
Babe? Is this the wine you got me?
Yeah, I'm fucking Oh, babe, what the hell?
This wine was empty.
Oh, guys, babe, that's not your wine. Yours is in the back. You're out of your mind. You grabbed the wrong one.
Oh, this is the wrong one.
One more chance.
Why are your pants so tight?
And that's why your boyfriend cheated on you. Oh. Let's go, guys.
That was so rude. Come on, honestly, you need to throw him under the bus.
And make sure there's a lot of people around when you do.
Lots of it.
Watch me, Nene. There's Hannah. Hello, Hannah.
What?
Listen, I really wanted to apologize about yesterday. It wasn't cool of me. I don't know what I was thinking. I apologize. And that's why your boyfriend cheated on you.
You need to throw him under the bus.
That's why your boyfriend cheated on you.
And make sure there's a lot of people around when you do.
Mistake. You know, we're like ebony and ivory. Chocolate milk.
Hey, Joey, watch
Not actually throw him under the bus.
Hey, y'all ready for the protest? Peaceful protest. Right? Peaceful. Yeah, we love, not hate. We love, not hate.
And we are here live at a peaceful protest. Can you give us your thoughts?
People say we hate all cops. Yeah. Hey, all this killing is no good.
Fuck, Obama just went in.
Yeah.
It's not just Black Lives Matter.
We know that all lives matter. We all need to carry peace in our hearts.
Yeah. That's why we love, not hate.
And that's the truth from the streets. Back to you in the studio.
Yeah.
cops. All this killing is good. More killing. Fuck Obama. Just Black Lives Matter.
No lives matter. We all need to carry a piece.
Yeah. That's what we hate. Yeah.
Hello?
Hannah, where are you? There's a pool party and the theme is floaties.
A floaty party?
Okay, all you gotta do is grab a floaty and then come over.
Oh yeah, I think my dad has one.
All right, see you later.
Woo!
Hannah, come here! Blow it up! Blow it up! Blow it up!
Wait, guys, there's holes in this.
Hannah, there's children here!
Hey, what's up?
Oh my god, it's your dog?
Yeah, that's my dog.
She's so cute. Come over here, baby.
Yeah, she's kind of cute.
You're cuter than he is, huh? We both know that. I'm just gonna keep her.
Put the damn dog down!
Let's go.
Yeah, that body's a blessing, girl. I ain't.
What are you doing?
I'm watching.
Watching for what?
The Neighbors! The Neighbors! Come on. Give it the program.
What's wrong with the Neighbors?
The Neighbors! The Yandere. All of them.
Okay, you're acting weird again.
Every single one of them. They're Yandere.
What are you talking about?
Seriously? What do I play all the time? Huh? The Neighbors are Yandere, clearly. They're crazy.
Okay, you're acting weird again. I'm gonna call your therapist. What's the number again? Michael.
Huh?
What are you doing?
What? The Neighbors are Yandere. I'm gonna go stop them.
No, Michael, no they're not.
It's a danger to our society, okay?
Look at you. You're more Yandere than the Neighbors.
Look, I'm gonna go get them, okay? Alright?
No, Michael. Michael, stop.
Stop. It's okay. I'm perfectly normal. Okay? I'll be back.
I don't think this is a good idea, Michael.
Oh yeah? That'll teach you to be Yandere, okay? Okay, none of that around here. My kids are supposed to be raised around here. God, can you believe them?
I told you not to go out there.
What? What? Are you trying to say something? You know what?
Yes, I'm trying to.
Just go and say it.
I'm trying to say that they're not Yandere. You are Yandere. Look at you. Look at you.
This is my everyday attire. How dare you?
Can you please put the knife away?
Huh?
The knife. Yeah, the knife.
Get away. Get away from me. I gotta go talk to my senpai.
What? Who's your senpai?
Get back!
Oh my god.
Stay away! Stay away from my senpai, okay?
Okay, look. Michael, let's be cool. Let's be cool. You're gonna kill... Oh god. Oh no, you killed us!
So guys, there is clearly an epidemic around here that needs to be stopped right... It needs It needs to be stopped right now, okay? There's this game called Yandere Simulators going all around, and it's caused everybody to become yandere. Like, what does that even mean? It's even gotten so bad that my neighbor, my very own neighbor, is yandere herself. And this is very bad. I'm saying what I was going to say. Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't know, maybe she's a great girl. Let's start it up. If there's anything you've learned from me, don't
Trying to pressure her. She messed with the temper. Wobble baby, wobble baby, wobble baby.
Nobody's killing me until after I catch my wife with another man.
Take me to Morty. You're not Morty.
No, I'm Mr. Crowbar, and this is my friend, who is also a crowbar.
That's stupid.
Yeah? Well, look where being smart got you.
Jerry, thank God.
Hold on. I wish that shotgun was my penis.
If it were, you could call me Ernest Hemingway.
Now, Morty, what do you say, buddy? Will you hand me a screwdriver so I can finish my ionic defibrillator?
Sure thing, Rick. Here's a screwdriver.
All right, Morty, thank you very much. We got 1 screw turn, and 2 screw turns, and...
Help! Help! Grandpa Rick! So, Dad, guess what tomorrow is?
Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday.
No. Well, it might be.
It is.
Fine. But also, tomorrow is your 1-year anniversary back in our lives. I'm gonna make you flying saucer-shaped pancakes.
Oh, there's no need to do that, Beth. Regular pancakes are fine.
I just want to apologize and say that I'm so sorry for all of these theories. I never meant to hurt anyone. Never meant to offend anyone. I just want to apologize and say that I'm so sorry for all of these theories. I never meant to hurt anyone. Never meant to offend anyone. Didn't mean to scare anyone. I'm so sorry. I'm also really sorry that I didn't bring any Kleenex because my nose is running like a mofo right now. So to anyone who I've ever offended... What was that?
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that's like unsolved mysteries for the 21st century. Speaking of things people haven't thought about since the late 90s, let's talk about the Blair Witch Project. Since the 2016 sequel to the movie is currently either in theaters or has been forgotten by history as a bland horror cash-in by the time that you watch this video. But the original was something special because it was one of the first movies that took advantage of the internet as a viral marketing tool. Blair Witch came out in the age before you could use Snopes to reveal that all those memes Uncle Joe posts up on Facebook are made up. So when buzz started going around that this found footage movie was real found footage, a lot of people were fooled. Some of the family members of the actors even got sympathy cards in the mail. And you can't really blame them for being fooled either. The makers of the movie made a fake documentary about the disappearance of the actors and set up websites with information about the names and places they made up for the movie. But I'm here today to clear things up once and for all, to tell you that not only is the Blair Witch Project a work of fiction, but that the Blair Witch herself is a fiction within that fiction. Throughout the movie, we're led to believe that these young filmmakers, Josh, Heather, and Mike, are being terrorized by some evil force in the woods, presumably the Blair Witch. But after studying the evidence, it becomes clear that none of the events are actually supernatural. Nope, the whole thing is just a setup for the two guys, Josh and Mike, to murder Heather. I know, that is a huge claim to make, and I'm sure that a lot of you don't believe me. But let me lay down the evidence so you can judge for yourself. In case it's been a couple years since you've seen the Blair Witch Project, here's a refresher. Heather is a student filmmaker looking to do a documentary on the mysterious urban legends surrounding the town of Burkittsville, Maryland, formerly named Blair. She recruits her friend Josh to run the camera. Josh brings along his friend Mike to handle sound. Now, Heather and Mike have never met before, as evidenced by Heather saying,
I guess you're Mike.
And,
how are you, Mike? It's nice to meet you.
When we see the first shots of him leaving his house. This is confirmed by Heather's journal, released in its entirety online as part of that viral marketing campaign, where on page 2 she mentions not knowing him. Meanwhile, we're never quite clear on the relationship between Josh and Heather. Sure, the movie reveals that Josh and Heather definitely know each other, but there's a little more to it than that. The initial concept for the movie had Josh as Heather's ex-boyfriend, and even though that didn't really make it into the events that we see on screen, Heather's diary does give us some hints about their history. On page 13, as they prep to go into the woods, she writes, quote, Josh doesn't listen to me at all, and he's supposed to be my friend. Mike is more respectful, and I don't know dick about him. A few days later, early on in their trip into the woods, she writes on page 16, Josh is always a surprise. So despite thinking they're friends, clearly Josh is antagonistic to Heather even before they're out into the woods and things start to go wrong. And to make matters stranger, neither Mike nor Josh is getting paid for their work on the movie. It's never mentioned in the movie itself, but Heather's diary fills in the details on both page 12 and on page 20. These guys are working for free on a movie that'll have them hiking deep into the wilderness in the cold and rain, all while carrying heavy film equipment. Remember, this was set in 1994. They ain't filming this thing on their iPhones, and it's not like Heather is some brilliant director.
Many of whom remain, either on this hill or in the town below.
Maybe Josh is doing it because he's a friend, but Mike, spending a week with a stranger pro bono? It's just odd. Even some of the things Josh says on the first day of the shoot are just uncomfortable.
Should we all, like, cut our fingers open and bleed on it?
Ha ha ha, cool joke, bro. Yeah, let's all bleed on the clapboard. But assume for a minute Josh did want to kill Heather for some reason. Heather says on tape,
nobody knows we're out here.
So this project definitely gives him the opportunity, and in order to pull it off without getting caught, he enlists Mike for help. But obviously that's speculation. We need some evidence to incriminate Mike and Josh, and their behavior on tape gives us some pretty big red flags. First, Heather is the one who plans the whole excursion, and based off Mike's admission that the map looks like Greek to him,
this is Greek to me,
we would expect Heather to be leading the way. But in almost every shot, Mike and Josh are walking ahead of her, guiding the group as if they already know where they're going. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. A huge chunk in the middle of the movie is dedicated to arguing over their map. A sequence that gets made fun of by everyone from CinemaSins to Honest Trailers because of how long it goes on. However, if you track the chain of events in the map handoffs, you see that something here is definitely not right. Let me walk you through it. The group has successfully filmed at their two desired locations and are headed back to the car. Heather begins to use the map to guide them along the shortest possible route back to where they parked. However, Mike and Josh start to cause a commotion over nothing looking the same as when they first hiked out.
I don't remember a portion of this from walking in from the car.
As Heather correctly explains,
that was the most direct way to hit our two locations. Now this is the most direct way back to the car.
And it makes logical sense. It's simple geometry. Point 1, point 2, hypotenuse. According to Heather, they're about 2 hours away from the car, and she remains confident that they can get there. Yet it's the guys who are unsatisfied, outright refusing to walk. Josh then demands to see the map.
Check the map.
Now, we don't see the handoff as they cut to them camping for the night, but the next morning, the map has gone missing, with Heather convinced that she gave it to Josh, saying it over and over.
Did you take it? I'm serious, I don't have it.
I gave you back the map, Heather.
I gave you the map.
I gave you back
the map. Josh, of course, denies it, and yet, based on the footage we saw from the night before, Josh was the most likely person to last have it based on him demanding to see it over and over.
Give me the map. Heather, give me the map.
With the map gone, tensions are obviously high, and despite Heather trying to get them to continue moving in the direction they were headed, it's Mike, Mr. It's All Greek to Me, who determines which way they'll walk.
We're going this way because that's the way we've been going for a day. We're going this way, and that's it. We gotta come across something.
A guy who, up to this point, has shown no enthusiasm for guiding the team. It's another odd decision. So now, consider the following. You're lost in the woods for days with strange noises happening at night and no map. Despite all of this, shortly after the map blow up, Mike and Josh start joking around like nothing happened.
Can we keep going, please?
Now we're gonna chill out.
An emotional shift so unwarranted and so abrupt, Heather takes notice and gets suspicious, specifically calling out,
I thought you wanted to get to the car.
And
this just seems like you guys are having just a little bit too much fun for my taste.
Jump forward a few minutes and we have Mike revealing that he kicked the map into the creek.
It was useless. I kicked that into the creek.
What? What? But while everyone in the movie and in the audience are thinking what a dumb move that was, it's the logistics of this that are really telling. Mike is not the map guy. As we hear repeatedly through the movie, it's Heather who keeps the map in her back pocket at all times.
The map is in my pocket, you're gonna have to wait a second.
So there are only two ways he could have gotten the map. One, stolen it from Heather's back pocket in the middle of the night where she keeps it, or two, gotten it from Josh after he knowingly kept it during the last map check. Option one comes with a bunch of implications we'll talk about in a minute, and option two would mean that Heather was right. The map was in Josh's possession, and Josh is just lying to her face about it. It also means that Josh is complicit in losing the map. But there are two last huge details from this section before we move on. As soon as the map goes missing, Heather demands the compass.
Give me the compass.
Who has the compass? Mike! And before Heather can hold on to it, Josh immediately demands it away from her. In other words, their only other navigational tool is constantly controlled by and manipulated by the two guys, and not Heather. And as one last nail in the coffin, the three had also decided to just head south, following the creek until they hit something. If years of watching Man vs. Wild has taught me anything, it's a good plan. It's probably one that Heather got out of the survivalist book that she had read prior to this trip, the book that we see at the beginning of the movie. And yet, despite everyone agreeing to this plan that surely would work at a certain point, at 42:22 in the movie, the guys just stop and alter course. Heather asks why they've changed up the plan and gets literally no response. They just decided to, and Heather has to be along for the ride. Again, what we're seeing is the two. And it's a good question except for one thing. There aren't any supernatural things that happen out there in the woods. One of the first big ones is the tent being surrounded by piles of stones when the group wakes up and breaks camp. Ooh, spooky rock piles. But Heather herself admits after the first night that she sleeps.
I sleep like a rock.
So what's to prevent one of the guys from building a couple of stone piles in the night? I mean, later in the movie, Josh full-on disappears without anyone in the tent noticing, proving that someone can come and go at will in the middle of the night without much trouble. Speaking of leaving the tent in the middle of the night, when else would Mike have gotten the opportunity to take the map and kick it into the creek? The period between us knowing the map exists and the map going missing is a short window that takes place overnight. What about that bundle of sticks that shows up later? Well, it's just a bunch of sticks that you can build at home. And sure, it contains some hair, clothes, and teeth that are implied to be Josh's, but it's not like they're doing DNA testing out there in the forests of Maryland. If this was indeed a premeditated murder, one of the guys could easily have brought those things along. Fun fact, even for the movie itself, all the production team did was ask for a few spare pulled teeth from a dentist. It's just not that hard to get your hands on human teeth, is what I'm saying. Heck, I got a collection in my own house. For reasons. And how about those sounds at night?
Hello?
Well, it's worth mentioning that Josh is the first to hear noises during night one.
One of them could have possibly been an owl, but the other one was like a cackling.
Yet does nothing to document them, and no one else hears them. It's also worth noting that at no point in the movie do the sounds remotely sound like a cackle. And seriously, if he had legitimately heard a cackle just outside of the tent in a haunted forest, you think he'd be that chill?
If I heard a cackling, I would have in my pants.
There's no way. He's planting the idea of scary sounds into Heather's head. For the sounds in the forest later in the film, remember that Mike is the sound engineer, so he'd definitely have the skills necessary to rig up a couple audio devices outside the tent. Even the compass could be tampered with if they had a few neodymium magnets, and go figure what's commonly found in audio equipment like speakers and headphones. Neodymium magnets. And who's the sound guy again? Oh yeah, Mike, the guy holding the compass. And I'm not the only one who thinks something weird is going on here. Again, Heather is suspicious of their behavior.
Flames are licking you like the devil there, Josh.
In her diary on pages 18, 21, and 23, 3 times, she specifically calls out either how she doesn't believe that they're sleeping through the night, or how surprised she is that they're able to sleep in the middle of all this scary, life-threatening ghost stuff. And she's 100% right. It would be weird for anyone to sleep like that when their lives are on the line. But they know it's not their lives on the line, it's hers. So unless they have to react to some spooky stuff to keep the illusion alive, they're getting their Z's on. She even gets so close to the truth, making the important observation in her diary that the strange things only start to happen when she falls asleep. What a coincidence that is. Still, there are probably some skeptics out there who don't believe that Josh and Mike killed Heather. And for you, I turn to the most damning evidence of all, the ending. It's pretty ambiguous, so let's piece it together beat by beat. Josh goes missing, and a few nights later, Heather and Mike hear Josh's screams deep into the woods.
Josh?
Mike, who earlier has shown himself to avoid chasing after noises in the dark and has the strongest self-preservation instinct,
Michael, are you saying you're not coming down?
I ain't going down there.
leads the charge out of the tent, pushing Heather to hurry up and follow him.
Mike, where are you going?
In the pitch black of the woods, again, it's Mike who sees the house.
It's a house.
And then a few seconds later goes inside without hesitating. When Heather shows some trepidation about going inside, he yells at her,
"Come on, in the house."
Once inside, he hears Josh's cries, and Mike loudly shouts that he's headed upstairs.
I'm going upstairs
to find him, with Heather shortly behind. At the top of the steps, he stands there waiting. It's only once Heather is upstairs that Mike quickly changes his mind, determining that the sounds he's hearing are apparently from the basement and not the second floor, loudly shouts out again that he's coming down the stairs.
Come on! I hear him downstairs!
Then rushes down, this time without waiting for Heather. And remember, this is all happening in a completely dark house that Mike has allegedly never seen before. Yet he finds the cellar staircase easily. We see Mike go down into the basement, and then the handheld camera is dropped, as most people assume Mike is attacked by the witch. From there, Heather catches up, sees Mike standing in the corner, gets attacked herself, and drops her camera. End of movie. Now, this whole sequence is suspicious for a couple reasons. Mike leading the charge at night is so outside of his character at this point, especially charging into what is obviously a murder house hidden inside the forest. He also seems very comfortable with the layout of said house, even though it's completely dark, and murdering her and then going back and then that Heather can see from the bottom of the stairs, distracting her and leaving her vulnerable to an attack from behind, an attack by Josh. Blaming it on a supernatural force that uses Josh's voice to lure people around the house, brings Mike downstairs, hits him on the head, possesses him to put him into the corner and stand there, while it goes around to hide from Heather so it can hit her on the head, murdering her, and then going back and then killing Mike again, is actually harder to believe. A murder plot where the two guys are complicit is actually the simplest solution here. But there is one final piece of evidence that points to this not being supernatural forces, and that's the existence of the movie itself. The fact that the trio's footage was found indicates that people made it into the woods, found the murder house, and got back home safely without being accosted by any supernatural beings. The Blair Witch seems oddly selective about protecting her forest. No, she was an excuse for two young young men to team up, scare, and eventually kill a girl and be thought dead, giving them the perfect escape for the perfect plan. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And cut. I dare you to click on the Blair Witch stick man hanging in front of you to subscribe.
Also, millions around the world getting off to this story of abuse. Blatant emotional and physical abuse. Most of it in a cultish sexual setting. Starting with a flashback.
As you can see, we have company this episode.
"30 seconds of intro for a web series."
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show whose host, aka me, went to see 50 Shades of Grey purely for research purposes, I swear. I know you don't believe me, but why else would I willfully volunteer to enter a lion's den of hundreds of thirsty women, all looking to enjoy the R-rated exploits of a 27-year-old billionaire playboy with a BDSM urge? Trust me, I have better things to do with my time. Thomas, show them one example of things I can do with my time. Yeah, sure, thanks. But as I sat there awkwardly slumping down in my chair to avoid anyone recognizing me, one of the things I was dumbfounded by was that the audience saw this movie as romantic. Romantic! Maybe they were blinded by the fast cars, million-dollar penthouses, chiseled abs, perfect chin, tousled hair, cute little twinkle in his eye. Whoa, hey, I'm sorry, I don't know what happened to me there. But what I do know is that Christian Grey, in all his brooding, damaged hunkiness, implements a clear pattern of behavior that goes way beyond bad influence. Throughout the movie, Christian Grey engages in what's known as thought reform, otherwise called indoctrination, as he seduces the young Anastasia Steele throughout the movie. And when I say indoctrination, I mean that Grey follows the exact steps that real-life cults use to brainwash innocent people. The same steps cults use to get people to drink poisonous Kool-Aid or worship this guy who said that aliens gave him a pair of sex robots. Seriously. Except Grey wants to, you know, spank Anastasia really hard. That's it, really. She asks to see how bad it gets, and he just spanks her with a belt. Kinda expecting more from a guy with ropes, chains, and whips everywhere. Don't believe me? Well, let me show you just how 50 Shades of f***ed up this gets. I still can't believe that that is the signature line from the movie and books. 50 Shades of... God, roll credits. Ding!
Stealing another channel's cliche.
As I just mentioned, thought reform is a kind of indoctrination, defined as a series of manipulative techniques used to get people to do something they wouldn't otherwise do. And when you consider that the entire plot of the movie is one guy getting one girl, a girl who has never had sex, mind you, to sign a kinky sex contract dictating all the things he's gonna do to dominate her, yeah, there's a little bit of that going on. But before we get into the specific cult-like steps that Grey follows, let's take a second to meet our victim. 21-year-old Anastasia Steele. She's an immensely shy college senior, a loner,
organized group activities aren't really my thing,
who only owns one skirt and
still uses a flip phone in 2015.
She lacks self-confidence.
I don't think I'd fit in here. Look at me.
Is unassertive, and honestly, outside of that,
there's really not much to know about me.
And with her about to graduate, she's entering a very vulnerable part of her life with no clear direction on what to do next. She is, in short, the perfect subject for thought reform. Though cults will target anyone, researchers generally agree that those who are most susceptible are individuals who are ignorant, unassertive, gullible, and lack self-confidence, all traits that we see throughout Anastasia's first scenes with Grey. And I'm not the only one to notice. Christian knows her type very well.
You said you're an English major? Tell me, was it Charlotte Bronte, Jane Austen, or Thomas Hardy who first made you fall in love with literature?
And this is a man who explicitly states earlier that very scene that he knows how to manipulate people.
And I've always been good at people. What motivates them, what incentivizes them, what inspires them.
So immediately we're presented with a young, poor, unconfident girl looking for answers, being courted by an older, confident billionaire. The power dynamic for indoctrination is certainly there, which means we should look at the progression cults use as they indoctrinate new members. For that, we can follow a convenient 8-step process. Yes, there's actually a standard psychological step-by-step guide for building your very own cult. It's kind of like building an IKEA coffee table, but easier because there's none of those funny little L wrenches.
Host of Really Smart Web Series pretends not to know the name of these wrenches.
Which I know are called Allen wrenches, thank you very much.
Never mind.
Anyway, the general philosophy about cult indoctrination is built on getting your target, in this case Anastasia, to get into the habit of saying yes. First to small harmless things, which gradually over time become bigger, more extreme, sex-slavey things. It's the classic story of frogs being placed into hot water. If you turn up the temperature slowly enough, the frogs never leave the pot until they boil to death. So, how does Anastasia boil? Let's see. Step 1. The cult recruiter gets the target to say yes to a non-threatening event. It can be anything from a workshop to a poetry reading to a party. For Anastasia, there are a couple early yeses. She takes Christian's offer of the pencil in the interview, she takes the business card at the hardware store, but the first big yes comes when Anna agrees to have coffee with Christian for the first time. It's the first time they're meeting independent of other reasons, just to spend time together. But it's just coffee, that's normal, you're thinking.
Telling the audience what they're thinking cliché.
And yes, you're right, it is just coffee. If a cult independent of other reasons, just to spend time together. But it's just coffee, that's normal, you're thinking.
Telling the audience what they're thinking cliché.
And yes, you're right, it is just coffee. If a cult were to just come out and say, hey, you there, cut off all your ties with your loved ones and jump aboard our space love comet, then you'd probably run away immediately. Same thing with Gray. It's a slow burn. He can't just be like, butt plugs, activate, and expect that to work. I mean, you gotta at least buy me a drink first. And that's exactly what he does. But it's at this coffee when the next phase of Anna's indoctrination begins. The love bomb. No, we're not talking about a hippie's nuclear strategy. This is when the cult showers attention, praise, even gifts onto the target. Basically, they're trying to create a positive association in the target's brain between the cult and feeling good. That way, when the opportunity to spend time together comes up again, the target will be more likely to say yes. In 50 Shades, starting with that coffee, Gray turns his charm beam fully onto Anna, asking about her family, giving her food, and the next day, what does Anna find on her doorstep? A big steaming pile of love bomb in the form of signed first edition books by her favorite author. A gift that Anna recognizes must have cost a fortune. She's being showered with presents as Gray works to associate positive feelings with her thinking of him. And that's before he really cranks up the pressure with new clothes, computers, and even cars. Christian Grey be dropping love bombs all over this place. And with it comes phase 3 of his plan, dangling the prize right in front of her. For cults, that prize tends to vary from happiness to a sense of community and purpose, to wealth, or even the answers to the world's mysteries. It's the value for joining the cult. So what prize is Gray dangling in front of Anna? Well, it's his mini Gray, if you get what I mean.
Cringe-worthy penis joke.
It's him, at least to begin with. It's the promise of being loved by a sexy, rich, powerful man. Anna admits to being a romantic, so to find her Mr. Darcy, the billionaire brooder with a cold exterior and loving interior, is her dream. And Gray knows it. Twice, he almost kisses her, but then doesn't. The first time happens as they leave the coffee shop after a particularly romantic moment where he saves her from getting hit in the street. The second comes after he quote-unquote rescues her after a night of clubbing and drinking, a scene we'll talk about more later. In both instances, notice that he lingers, even after he says things like, I should let you go. He tempts her, but ultimately refuses the kiss that she clearly wants. This is an important step in Anna's indoctrination, as he's dangling the prize just out of her reach, until she gets to step 4. Soon after his second denial, he becomes more explicit, saying,
I would like to bite that lip.
Anastasia finally responds with,
I think I'd like that too.
Then, and only then, does he bring up the contract.
Not until I have your written consent.
It's funny to us as the audience because it seems like such an odd thing to say. But for Gray, this moment is entirely calculated. Step 4 of the indoctrination process is getting an agreement from the target that they want the prize. Don't you want to be financially independent? You know you want the secret of life, don't you? You crave signing a contract stating that you'll be my submissive sexual object, right?
Sign me up.
Gray has led her on, taunting her with the prospect of kisses and sex, but it's not until she verbally confirms that yes, she wants that he drops the bomb about what his end goal is. She's enough on the hook at this point that he knows he's not gonna lose her with a weird comment like that. But then look what he does.
Not until I have your written consent.
What?
I'll explain later.
He avoids it. He's planted the seed, but he knows there's still a longer game to play. But Anna doesn't walk away, doesn't ask further questions, and he rewards her good behavior with the long-awaited kiss. A passionate moment in the elevator. He appears like he can't control his urges anymore, but remember, this is a man who explicitly states that he has control over every part of his life. This kiss isn't a moment of passion, it's a calculated moment of conditioning. So Anna finally has her prize, or at least the taste of it, and obviously she's being led on to want more. Then Gray ups the ante with his next date, a helicopter ride to his private top-floor penthouse, and in the process, he willfully changes the game. The prize he's dangling isn't just a pretty set of eyes and chiseled abs anymore. It's a driver, private flights, million-dollar apartments. The prize has gotten bigger, and Anna's almost got the winning ticket, except for Gray's non-disclosure agreement on the table. He doesn't pull this thing out until he's laid out all the benefits of being with him. And watch this. She signs it immediately, with zero hesitation. I mean, she signs it so quickly I doubt she even read the thing. And after she puts her John Hancock on the line, what's her first question after reading it?
Are you gonna make love to me now?
Just like the frogs, the heat's turned up and she's not even flinching. She signs the contract with the explicit expectation of reward. But Gray is still dangling and once again refuses her the intimacy that she's looking for. Because just having sex with Anna isn't his ultimate goal. And that leads to the introduction of the infamous playroom, the Velvet Gymnasium. And clearly she's freaked out. I mean, who wouldn't be really? She just wants her roll in the hay and he's pulling out the handcuffs and the legalese. Anna's not ready. Enter step 5, shutting down your descent by threatening to withhold the prize. This is where the cult starts to get serious. The cell becomes a bit more aggressive. The target is encouraged to do things they might not want to do, devote more time to the group, recruit on their behalf, pay dues, adopt more extreme beliefs. But when the target expresses resistance to these greater demands, the cult shuts down their arguments by withholding that all-important prize. And in 50 Shades to Christian Grey, it's butt plugs or nothing.
50 Shades and my Saturday nights.
Oh sure, Anna, you can have this apartment, but you'll have to live here between Friday and Sunday. And you'll have to be Gray's subservient and kneel for him. Oh, and by the way, he still won't sleep with you even after you're done in the X-rated romper room. And when Anna hesitates, completely understandably I might add, Gray is like, no, okay then, peace out dog, this is how I do. Seriously, she asks,
what if I don't want anything to do with that?
Nope. Sorry, Gray has shut down her descent by threatening to withhold everything. No penthouse, no helicopter, none of that hickory-smoked Gray sausage. Not unless you sign that contract. Welcome to the cult. Oh, and then he finds out that she's still a virgin.
You're still a virgin?
And just to sweeten the pot, has sex with her. A power play all on its own, just so she can see what she'll be missing. And without getting too graphic, notice that he pleasures her. Something he's made it very clear he's not interested in at all, as evidenced by this quote.
Why would I do that?
Please me.
It's just a tactic he's using to sweeten the pot to make signing the contract a little extra special. Then it's on to step 6, the establishment of guilt. The target is in the door, so now what do you do to reprogram their thoughts? By shaming them, making them feel guilty for not appreciating the cult, its leaders, or its beliefs enough.
Cult indoctrination techniques are starting to sound like my mother's parenting skills.
What this does is break down the recruit's perception and replaces it with one approved of by the cult leadership. In Gray's case, he makes Anastasia feel guilty by saying things like,
I've never taken anyone in the helicopter. I've never had sex In my own bed?
She's the only one to have received this treatment and should feel special about this gift he's given her. He also tells his personal sob story that he's broken, that he's 50 shades of effed up, making her feel guilty for questioning his tastes. He's just a poor wilting flower, and the strain shows. We repeatedly see Anna crying, on the phone, going to bed, conflicted about how she should be feeling. Is she wrong to be cautious of this man pushing her into a realm that she's not comfortable? Of course not! But those are the questions Grey wants her to be asking. It shows cracks in her resistance. That isn't love, that's the effects of calculated psychological torment. Step 7, the carrot and the stick. Let me cite this, word for word from one resource on the subject. Behavior is reinforced by rewarding good behavior and punishing bad behavior. That's a direct quote. Now let's look at a quote from Christian after he reveals his playroom to Anastasia.
I have rules. If you follow them, I'll reward you. If you don't, I'll punish you.
That too is a direct quote. Need I say more?
Obvious rhetorical question is obvious.
Actually, yes. In psychology, this is called operant conditioning. Basically, it's using rewards and punishments to incentivize one type of behavior over another. Rewarding your dog with a treat because it rolled over? Operant conditioning. Giving your sex slave a new laptop because she survived a flogging? Operant conditioning.
Expecting a sin every time you hear this ding? Operant conditioning.
Which leads to step 8, the final phase, controlling the recruit's identity, information, and environment. All these other steps are how the person gets sucked in, but this is how the cult keeps them in, isolating them from friends and family, changing the recruit's name, randomly alternating between praise and love and scorn and punishment, removing the recruit's ability to choose by controlling things like money, food, and career. And notice that Grey has been doing all of these things the entire time. From the first moments of the movie, Anastasia repeatedly corrects Christian, saying to call her Anna instead of Anastasia. He willfully ignores this, continuing to call her by her full name. At the coffee shop, he gives her the muffin and tells her to eat. And again, a few scenes later, there are the eat this and drink this cards. When it comes to alternating between praise and punishment, he appears interested in Anna in the coffee shop, but then rushes out to keep her off balance, punishing her for no fault of her own. By buying her new clothes, computers, and cars, Anastasia's financial independence is virtually gone. Grey is even so generous as to get rid of her old car for her. And at the bar, like the 5th scene in the movie, he physically removes Anastasia from the party, blocking out longtime friend Jose and having his brother run interference on her best friend Kate, taking Anastasia to a place he deems appropriate when, let's face it, there was zero reason for him to insert himself into that situation in the first place, let alone bring her anywhere other than her own apartment. He's already isolating her in the first 30 minutes of the movie, shaping her identity and managing her resources like the good cult leader that he is. But then things take on a whole new meaning once she's inside the happy little love nest. Cult members are told what to eat, what to wear, when to sleep, and look where Anastasia is. Her schedule is dictated by his demands. When he tells her to, she must do her hair in a ponytail and wait for him kneeling by the door, hands just so. The contract requires that she only eat foods from a certain list, and when she seeks an escape, needs to clear her head with the help of her family back in Georgia because, you know, some of this she might need to talk to someone about. Who's there to interrupt? I bet you can guess. Christian Grey. How romantic. But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory. And...
Host doesn't give special guest signature closing line.
Well then, go for it.
Okay then, that's just a theory. A film theory. Thanks for watching.
Special guest ruins closing line by saying it too quickly. Ding! Hey, you just survived a 16-minute long video about 50 Shades of Grey, so I must be doing something right here. Might as well subscribe. Speaking of your life 16... Spirits near, I call to you. Is anyone with me today? That doesn't make sense. If you move it to no, then somebody has to be there. Hey, that is just rude. Welcome Welcome to Film Theory, the show that bends over backwards to deliver you scarily good theories. Hello! And when I say backwards, I mean really bends over backwards. Now, with Halloween fast approaching, we're about to experience one of fall's spookiest trends. And no, I don't mean people dressing up as clowns trying to lure children into the woods. But while we're on the subject, this trend is freaking me out. Sorry all you trick-or-treaters, but any of you who show up at my house this Halloween dressed as clowns might get yourself reflexed kicked in the chest. Consider this your first and last warning. Anyway, the trend I was referring to was the Halloween horror cash grab, as every year movie studios rush in to make cheap, scary movie sequels that'll get them a quick buck. And often, in their collective race to the bottom, they're greenlighting projects that no one liked in the first place. Case in point, the topic for today, Ouija. A movie series rocking a solid 7% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it's safe to say that the movie-going audience wasn't clamoring for a sequel on this one. And can you blame them? It's a movie based on a board game, and we saw how well that worked out with Battleship a few years ago. Except here, I hesitate to even give it the credit of calling it a game, since it requires someone to move that little plastic piece as though it's possessed by a ghost, and then lie about it to the rest of the group, which means if you have a bunch of honest friends like good old MatPat here, and no one moves the darn thing, you just have to wait there and nothing happens. Here's a better name for it: sit there and look like an idiot. There's your truth in advertising. Slap that one onto the box. Sorry, the rage pad is strong with this one. I'm just upset that I spent $20 on a piece of cardboard and a crappy plastic triangle. So, why am I talking about these movies when I could be out there pumpkin picking or sampling some exotic butters? Well, as I watched the trailers for this year's new installment, Ouija Origin of Evil, something clicked in my little brainy head. This lame modern horror franchise may actually be connected to one of the greatest classic horror franchises of all time: The Exorcist. In fact, Regan, the main character from The Exorcist, you know the one, the vomit-spewing conduit for satanic demons? Yeah, her. She may be the one to blame for all of the events of the Ouija series. Ouija? Ouija. I pronounce it Ouija, as in creepy Luigi. I just double-checked the Cambridge English Dictionary, and it is in fact Ouija in the US and in the UK. Boom, knowledge dropped. Okay, maybe not in the UK, only in the US, but you know what, it's one of those things. GIF, GIF, let's all just get along and pronounce it. GIF, 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 GIF. How about we pronounce it piece of shit board? How about that? You heard me right. I'm saying Ouija 1 and 2 may just be the unofficial sequels to The Exorcist. How cool would that be? Well, get ready, because we're gonna have ourselves a devilishly good time today. And be warned, because of the subject material, there are some graphic images ahead. Now, before we begin, here's what you need to know about both movies in less than 60 seconds. Start the clock now. The Exorcist starts in Washington, D.C., where a tween girl is living with her mother, who happens to be a famous actress. The girl, Regan, starts behaving strangely, convulsing, peeing in front of company, and using very creative profanity. Your mother sucks dicks in hell. After a battery of medical tests, Regan's mom suggests that she is possessed by the devil and seeks an exorcism. 2 priests are assigned to the task. After Regan redecorates the walls a bit, the priests are separated, the old one has a heart attack and dies, the young one says to the demon, "Come at me, bro!" The demon does indeed, possessing the young priest, who then jumps out the window to his death, supposedly ridding the world of the demon. Regan is back to normal and life goes on, or does it? It does, at least until the sequel. Ouija starts out with 2 young girls playing with a Ouija board and talking about the do's and don'ts of playing. Years later, one of them commits suicide, so the other tries to contact her using the exact same board, except, dun dun dun, they actually contact the spirit of another dead girl named Doris, who starts to terrorize the group of friends and force them to kill themselves. They eventually burn Doris's old mummified body and the Ouija board, and they live happily ever after with their PTSD. Or do they? They do, probably until the sequel. Whew, y'all caught up? Good. Now, a bunch of you are still probably saying that I'm crazy for thinking that there's some kind of connection between these 2 movies, so let's just start off with the one that sparked my interest in this theory to begin with, the Ouija board. Now, obviously, the Ouija board is important in the movie named after it. It serves as a conduit through which spirits enter the real world. But now let's look at The Exorcist. Sure, everybody remembers the big moments like the head spin and lines like, "The power of Christ compels you," but I bet most of you have forgotten how Regan herself got possessed in the first place. Early in the movie, Regan tells her mother that she's found a Ouija board in the closet, and that she plays with it with her invisible friend, Captain Howdy. Okay, time out. If someone introduces themselves to you as Captain Howdy, you're at best a child molester and at worst a demon, so just walk away. This has been a Film Theory public service announcement. Now, before she found this Ouija board, Regan was fine, but after she starts communing with Captain Howdy, everything goes to hell. Hell. Get it? Jokes are great. Now, all you astute theorists might be thinking that correlation isn't causation, that we can't just say because weird stuff started happening after Regan started playing with the Ouija board that the Ouija board is to blame. But let's turn back to Ouija the movie, which sets forth 3 rules for safe spirit contact. 1, never play in a graveyard. 2, always say goodbye. So dumb. That's the reason you have a 7% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, Ouija. And 3, never play alone. It's rule number 3 that's important here. In the first Ouija movie, Debbie uses the board by herself, and it's what causes Doris to start haunting her. And it's the same thing with Regan and Captain Howdy. She plays alone, and she gets possessed. And mind you, these aren't some general rules from the board game. They're made up in the movie universe, so there's really no reason why the boards would behave so similarly in both movies, unless this happened to be a shared universe. Now, there's another problem here that some of you are probably thinking. In Ouija, the teenagers aren't possessed. They summon the spirit of Doris, the angry ghost of an evil girl. That's nothing like Regan in The Exorcist, who actually gets possessed by the devil. So how on earth could I say that these boards function in the same way? Well, let's clear some things up. First, Regan isn't actually possessed by the devil. It's a common misconception, and you can't be faulted for making it when Regan says things like, "And I'm the devil." But in The Exorcist II: The Heretic, it's actually revealed that Regan was possessed by Pazuzu, an ancient Babylonian wind demon. If that seems completely random, it's actually not. Remember in the first movie that we see an archaeological dig site in Iraq where Father Marin, the soon-to-be puke receptacle, discovers a figurine of a demon? Well, that demon is Pazuzu. You can see in the trailers that she didn't start off as just some angry ghost. It appears that she uses a Ouija board alone back in the late 1960s and gets herself possessed by, you guessed it, a demon spirit that you too. It's time to do some demon-analysis. Similarity number 1, their targets. Pazuzu and the Ouija demon not only come into the world the same way, but they also use similar people as conduits. Both Doris and Regan are preteen girls without a father figure. In fact, in the trailer for Ouija Origin of Evil, Doris looks like she's trying to contact what we assume is her dead father through the board, before she gets herself throat punched by the leather daddy gimp demon. Regan's father, meanwhile, isn't dead, but he does live abroad in Italy and doesn't bother to talk to his daughter even on her own birthday. In both cases, we've got young women without a strong male presence in their lives, which makes it much easier for them to be seduced and corrupted by a male spiritual presence. Similarity number 2, the eyes. Perhaps the thing that most shocked audiences about The Exorcist was the battery of grotesque physical transformations Regan undergoes throughout the movie. You probably remember her cracked skin and janky teeth, but on a number of occasions, Regan's eyes roll into the back of her head and look all white. Ouija gives us way fewer visual clues to tell us that people are possessed, but we do see the group's eyes turn that same milky white when they're attacked by Doris. But that's just what your eyes do when you're possessed by a demon, object those of you who are suddenly experts on demonic possession. Well, here's the thing. I'd be willing to overlook this if white eyes were a universally accepted movie trope, like how you have to walk slowly away from something that you blow up, but it's not. In The Exorcism of Emily Rose, Dexter's sister's eyes just dilate and turn black when they're possessed, and Sister Mary Eunice's eyes turn red in season 2 of American Horror Story. The white eyes shared by Regan, the kids in Ouija, and Doris in the origin story isn't necessarily the smoking gun, but it is another prominent connection of these sorts of possessions. And we're still not done. Just look at similarity number 3, the demon's powers. Probably the best way to draw parallels between the demons we see in The Exorcist and Ouija is by comparing how they act and what they're able to do. And the overlap here is actually surprising. Both demons have the unusual ability to enable their possessee to speak in tongues. When Pazuzu possesses Regan, she's suddenly able to speak several different languages, from Latin to French to Italian. Fair enough. But then in the trailer for Ouija Origin of Evil, it's revealed that after Doris starts acting strangely, she writes a number of letters in Polish. Huh. Interesting shared connection there. Seems like both of our demons happen to be linguistics majors. And then there's the subject of levitation. Some of the earliest hijinks the demon causes in The Exorcist include making Regan's bed levitate off the ground, which by the end of the movie has graduated to making Regan herself levitate into the air. Similarly, Doris's victims in Ouija levitate cleanly off the ground. And even Doris herself seems to be able to defy gravity, as evidenced by this clip that we get of the new movie, in which Doris crawls her way up the side of the staircase with her eyes in that glossy, white, possessed look. A scene, mind you, that is very reminiscent of The Exorcist's nightmare-inducing, body-contorting spider walk down the stairs. And speaking of demons compelling their conduits to move down the stairs in creepy ways, how about that classic Exorcist flexibility? Well, in the opening of the Ouija Origin of Evil trailer, we see Doris being bent backwards in a position that would allow her to do something like the spider walk. In fact, both Regan's demon and Doris's demon seem to be able to defy human anatomy, contorting the body in ways that should be breaking the little girl's bones and joints, be it the owl head spin in The Exorcist or Doris's jaw drop. So there are a lot of similarities here. Yes, some are shared in large part with possessions in general, but a lot of this, like the languages and the backbends, are specific to this movie franchise. But still, at the beginning of all this,